Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sarah Wisted. Today's video, I'm actually filming a video that you guys have requested. I constantly get asked about my eyebrows on Instagram, which I feel like is kind of funny because I myself love eyebrows and I love looking at other people's eyebrows. So I really appreciate when you guys notice the hard work that I put into mine. So I filmed this video mainly to show you what I'm doing for my eyebrows, but it is a everyday makeup routine. So it's pretty much what I do every single day. I'm not fancy when it comes to my makeup. I use the same products that I've been using for years. And then other than that, like, it's just, this is what you get. Like, I don't really switch it up that often either. So I also wanted to thank Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video. I just picked up some pieces from their new collection, namely these earrings, which are super, super cute. I also got this cuff. I don't know about you guys. I have been, like, do you guys get the double piercing thing? Because I've been wanting to get double piercings for so long and I've just been putting it off, mainly because I'm like a little terrified of that pain. I don't really remember what it was like when I got them, like the first hole when I got them so long ago. I think I was in, I want to say elementary school or middle school, I can't remember, but I'm a little bit nervous of getting the second one, so I've been putting it off. But for the time being, I figured I'd pick up just this cute little ear cuff because it kind of does like a similar style. Obviously it's not a second hole, so I will still be trying to get my second hole pierced, but I just thought it was like a cute little addition. And then of course I've been loving like mini hoops lately. It's pretty much all I've been wearing. Went for these like smaller, and it's a double hoop. Like, it just is a little bit different of a shape. And then the last item that I picked up, I added another ring to my Ana Luisa ring collection. I've already had this one, so I just added another one. It's just a plain ring, and I just thought it would be like cool to obviously wear them together. I will say Ana Luisa is really good at, like, so number one, their jewelry is sustainable, and the best part is that they don't turn colors. So like, you know how sometimes when you wear rings or if you have earrings in and it turns your skin like darker, like green, or it's just like something gross like rubs off on your hands. Their jewelry doesn't do that, and I've been wearing these like in the water and washing my hands with them. Of course, we're having to wash our hands extra these days with you know, the pandemic going on, and I haven't noticed anything crazy happening to them. They still look brand new. Like, I've had this one for, I want to say like 4 months now, and I wear it often. So yeah, and it still looks pretty brand new, which is great. So yeah, the other great thing about Ana Luisa is they have provided me a promo code for you guys, and it's for 10% off their site. I will leave my code below, but I believe it's just WistedSarah10. So that's for 10% off. And their jewelry does start at $39 and goes all the way up to like higher end jewelry. So it's pretty much something for everybody. It has been my go-to recently for like the dainty jewelry that I've been loving. So yeah, I'll leave their information below if you were interested in that. And if you are interested in seeing how I do my makeup every day, namely my eyebrows, then just keep watching. Okay guys, so this is my bare skin. I usually start all of my makeup with some sort of moisturizer, which I'm sure most people do. The one that I've been using is this Ole Henriksen C-Rush Brightening Gel Cream. And I've been using this for, I want to say, a year, maybe 2 years now. And I've tried a bunch of different skincare products, and this is my absolute favorite. I don't think I will ever get rid of this in my skincare routine. There was a while there where I was using this night and day, but now I just use this during the day and I use something else at night. But that's a completely different video on what I've been doing for my skincare. But I usually just start with this and just put it all over my skin. And then I usually put on it's the Ole Henriksen Banana Bright Eye Cream after that, but I am completely out and I've been way too lazy to go get some more. So I've been out for like a week or two at this point. So hopefully this weekend I'll have some time to stop by Sephora, but I usually do some sort of eye cream. I just don't have any right now, so that's why I'm skipping that step right now. Okay, so once my moisturizer and eye cream typically is on, then I use this Erborian CC cream. And what's great about this is it also has sunscreen, and this Erborian, if you haven't heard of it, is actually a really great like primer. So they have a few different I guess products based on like what you need. Like there's a pore blurring primer, there's a cream that, I'm like losing my words, but there's a bunch of different options that you can find at Erborian. They all have sunscreen on it. So I just want to make sure that I'm getting sunscreen in, but this one does, the point of this one is for radiance. So high definition radiance face cream, skin perfector. I like to go for more of like a glowy, dewy look, very natural, as I mentioned before. So yeah, this is how I start it with my sunscreen slash primer. And it comes out white, which might be kind of scary, but I promise it's not. It blends in perfectly and starts to like get the glow that you're trying to get. And then my next product I'm actually obsessed with. Like I just found this year a few months ago. Sephora was having a sale and I thought I would just buy it just to try it. Obsessed with it. Again, it's one of those products I don't think I will ever not use just because it's so great. And it is this Hollywood Flawless Filter by Charlotte Tilbury. It's starting to lose the logo just because it's been in my makeup bag, but it is amazing. It's more of like a like BB cream, so it has like a tinted like layer to it, but it's super glowy. I would say it's very light, so you can use it, and sometimes I do use it instead of my foundation. Foundation obviously covers more. This doesn't cover as much of your skin, so it won't be as opaque as if like you used like a full coverage foundation, but it is so beautiful, so glowy. So I actually use this for the most part without foundation during the week, and then if I want just a little bit more coverage, I just add on my foundation. So this is what I do. Okay, so again, it's just layering on like a thin layer of tinted moisture. It's not moisturizer, but it's like a tinted foundation, like super sheer, and it adds a lot of glow, which I think is so beautiful. I think you can see this in the camera. So then the next thing I do is use my foundation, and I use the Armani Luminous Silk. If I don't want full coverage, like if I'm just working from home and I'm not really doing anything or going anywhere, I usually stop and I don't add this step, but I'm gonna add this step today just because I am filming and I might as well show you what a full, I guess, makeup look looks like for me, because this is what I do pretty much every day if I'm going somewhere. So what I do is I just put one squirt on my like hand, and then I just put little dots around my face. I don't use a ton of foundation either. Like I said, I'm pretty, like just always go for the like natural look. So I just use one squirt. If you want to do more than one, obviously you can layer it on, but I don't do that. So then I just use the back of my beauty blender, get the excess off my hand, and then blend it in. Next step is probably no surprise to most of you guys because everyone uses this, I feel like, but this is just the NARS, the Radiant Creamy Concealer. So I use the color Honey. Just dab some underneath my eye. And then I also put some like at the corner of my eye. And I actually learned this trick from Maddie Bernard, so shout out to Maddie, thank you for this. I let this sit for like a good minute before I blend it in. I don't know the benefits of why it helps. If you go to her video, she's better at explaining it, but I think it just like smooths out better and it's less, like, you know, when you use your beauty blender and it starts to pick up and not actually like press the concealer into your skin, I feel like if you let it sit there a little bit longer, then it just smooths out a little bit better. So I let this sit, and while this is sitting, another thing that I learned from Maddie, so she has been so helpful. Hairs, soap. So I do the soap brows that she does. So what I do is I just take a little spray. This is just water. And then spray like the edge of the soap. Like that. And then I take my Anastasia Beverly Hills eyebrow brush that they sell. I take my wet soap and then I just rub and get some on the brush. This can be a little difficult. If you get too much product on your brush, you can end up getting like, it almost looks like cakey or like stiff up here. So just try not to get the soap like on your actual skin, like try and keep it on your eyebrow if that makes sense. But I usually just use the back of my hand and get as much of the excess of the soap off that I can. And then I'll go in and lightly put it on my eyebrows. I'm just trying to get it on the hairs, and then I'll let that sit for just a second, and then I'll go back through and brush once it dries to be a little bit more tacky. So yeah, let me show you that. I'm gonna try to get closer too. Brush this part like straight up, but then as you get closer to the edge, then I try and like go out just a bit, and just I'm trying to make them like big. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there and kind of let that dry. Move on to the next brow. Okay, so I'm gonna let those sit for just a second. Blend in my concealer at the bottom. Then once I've buffed in my concealer, then I take the Laura Mercier translucent powder, the edge of my beauty blender, and I just tap it on. Okay, powder's on. Okay, so now that I have my under eyes set, then I usually just go and finish my eyebrows. And what I do is I just go back through with the spoolie from my Anastasia brush and just go back through and brush it up. It'll be a little bit more stiff at this point just because the soap has dried a bit. So I'm just gonna try and get them exactly where I want them, and then I will start to fill them in. To start filling them in, I use the Goof Proof Brow Pencil by Benefit. The best part about this is it comes with the pencil side, but then you also have a fresh spoolie. So I'll use the pencil side to kind of fill in. I don't use this to like make very clean lines. I just use it to kind of fill in the gaps that I have, and then I'll go in with powder over in just a second. So I fill in just like the spaces that I have on each eyebrow, and then I'll go in with the powder to like make everything very clean, like make the lines clean. But the best part about this is this doesn't have the soap on it, so you can kind of brush your eyebrows and it'll make them fluffy again, but also help them stay in place. So once I'm done with the soap on my eyebrows, I usually go over with the spoolie at the end. So I'll show you. go in with the spoolie and just kind of like fluff them up a tad. And just be careful to use this super light, because if you kind of drag your eyebrow, you'll start to get some of the product up above your eyebrow and it just looks kind of messy. So just try and be like super gentle and super light with the spoolie. Okay. And then I go in with the Anastasia Brow Powder Duo in dark brown. Obviously I use this a ton, but I use this dark side. I don't really use the gray side as much, so just take my Anastasia Beverly Hills brush, as I've been using before, dip it in, and then just lightly go over in like little hair-like motions. Oh, I wanted to mention, this part right here is where you want it to look the most fluffy, if that makes sense. So I try and not use the pencil part that close up here. I'll just use the powder more on the inside. And then I'll also make kind of like a sharp line underneath to try and get it pretty sharp. The one thing I want to mention is I don't really perfect my eyebrows. Like, I let them look kind of unkept, if that makes sense. Like, I don't get them waxed, I don't get them like threaded, or I don't even really pluck them, honestly. So I kind of let them just look wild. I like that look. It looks super natural to me. So that's kind of like where my brows are at. Yeah, so I just try and like work with what I got. I don't really try and like shape them in any way. So yeah, that's it. So do you see how I did like kind of a more sharp line at the bottom? I leave the top kind of, I don't really do sharp lines at the top, but I just try and make it a little bit sharper at the bottom. Okay, and in terms of my eyebrows, that's it. That's all I do for my eyebrows. So if you look at them, they look a little bushy, kind of overgrown, but that's the way that I like them. Like I said, I try and make it a little bit more sharp underneath, and I don't really touch the top. I'm just trying to like fluff them up as much as that I can. And yeah, the other thing is I want to say I used to do it powder only, and I used to do it a pencil only, and it really wasn't until I did pencil first with powder on top that I started to notice a really big difference, and I started getting a lot of compliments on my eyebrows. So I think for me that must be the like magical combination. So that's kind of where I'm at with my eyebrow routine today. Next step after my eyebrows is I usually just go in and sometimes I will put on bronzer, the Hoola bronzer. I start at my forehead, and then I come down to my cheekbones. And then I do go underneath my chin as well. Use blush, and I've currently been using the Décolleté blush. It is PK850, so it's pretty dark, and I know that looks like a little scary, but I've been using blush this dark for a while. Someone did my makeup one time and used a dark blush like this, and I just loved how natural it looked. Like, I feel like sometimes a blush that's too bright just looks odd on my skin tone, so I've been using the dark colored blush on the balls of my cheekbones. I do a little bit on my forehead, and I do a little bit on my eyelids, just to add just like a little color. Then I go in to, I use this super old Naked palette. If this isn't a theme for me, I don't know what it is. I just literally use what I have. I don't go out of my way to buy makeup usually, unless it's like glowy makeup or something for your foundation, or that'll make your skin look just glowy. So this I've had for so long. I need to get a new one, so please don't judge me. But I basically just use this color right here. It's the it's just called Naked. So I use Naked, I use Buck, and then I use Dark Horse. I grab just like your everyday crease brush. So I dip it into both Naked and Buck, tap it off, and then just go in just to my like eye. You can also use bronzer. I use bronzer sometimes too to do this, but it just kind of gives your eye like a little bit more of like a, I don't know, smoky look without being overpowering. So that's pretty much what I do every day. Sometimes I don't wear any eyeshadow at all, but it just adds a little something. You see what I mean? It's not like overpowering, it's just like a little something. Then I take this other like eyeshadow brush. It's just kind of like flat, a little bit fluffy. Dip it into the same Naked and Buck. And then I just go underneath my lash line with it. Last but not least, I take this angled brush and I just do that Dark Horse, which is like the darker brown color, to give myself, it's like a little bit of an eyeliner, but like not very harsh. It's just to add a little something to the lash line. And I do like a tiny wing just to make it look like my lashes are a little bit longer, but I don't do anything crazy with that. And then my next to last thing that I do, like I said, I want to be so glowy, like super, super glowy is my goal. So I end with these custom enhancer drops from Cover FX. I've had this for, I want to say like 2 years, which I know I need to get a new one because this thing expires at some point, but it's still working, so I still use it. And like I said, I'm super low maintenance with my makeup, so I'm just like using what I have, and yeah, that's where I'm at. But I will say these are like very intense. Like if you use too much, your like whole face could look like foil basically. So you just want to be super light with these drops. So this is basically empty, so I need to get a new one anyway. But I usually just take it out of the tube and then just like lightly dab the smallest amount on my cheekbones, the tip of my nose, and then on like my forehead, like right above my eyebrow. You see how that just adds like a little bit of glow? I mean, obviously you can add more if you want, but this is really all I do. Just, I want it to look as natural as possible. I feel like it makes my forehead look super like smooth, so I like that, obviously. And then the last step, I just use mascara from Marc Jacobs. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, it is pretty natural. Obviously it's not like super natural, but I mainly just focus on my eyebrows and the glow. Everything else I kind of just layer on as I need to or want to. If I'm working from home, I pretty much skip the eyeshadow, I skip the bronzer, I skip the, actually I feel like I do always put on just a tad bit of blush just to add a little color to my face. But then I'll skip the foundation as well and still do all these steps. I just kind of make it less, if that makes sense. So yeah, this is the final look. But that was it for my everyday makeup routine. I hope this was helpful. I hope you got something from it. If you did, please leave a comment for me below. Also, go ahead and subscribe. It's just that big red button down below. And friendly reminder that Ana Luisa is having, you can use my code for 10% off any item on their site. And you just use the code that I'll add below, but I believe it's just Wisted Sarah 10. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm sure I will see you on my next video.